This is your one and only spoiler warning. If you do not want spoiled for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, click off this video, go watch it, and then come back to it. You will be spoiled in 3, 2, 1. Bowser kisses Mario. No, I'm not just saying shit to scare people off and give them one last second chance to click off. No, like, genuinely, Bowser kisses Mario, and I'm genuinely surprised I've not seen more people talking about that, because, well, you know how the internet is.
Hello, it's me, Mario. Just kidding, it's T-Hawk. Sorry to deceive you like that. So, the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I had recently just was able to watch it, and overall, I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. I had a lot of fun in theaters. So, I'm just going to jump right into my thoughts. This is one of Illumination's most beautifully animated movies. It is just absolute eye candy. And honestly, if you're a big fan of animation, it's a fun watch. Another highlight of film, I thought the comedy and writing was really good. I have no notes there. I always thought Illumination films are relatively funny. I think that's actually one of their stronger points, is that they've always done comedy pretty well. And, what else? I was really happy that Luigi and Mario spent most of the film together, because one of my biggest issues with the first film was that Luigi was captured and we didn't see him get to interact with Mario outside of like maybe 2 or 3 scenes. Thankfully, they actually listened to feedback, it seems like, and they fixed that for this movie. So, yippee skippy, I was glad that happened. Another note, soundtrack was just phenomenal in this movie. Like, as a longtime Mario player, hearing so many tracks translated into orchestral remixes, mwah, chef's kiss. They did a phenomenal job with that. Overall, I thought the story was, it was alright. It was serviceable for what it was. If you're going into this expecting a faithful adaptation to Galaxy, well, don't. It's not. Like, it's, well, they call it the Mario Galaxy movie. In reality, it's just the Mario Brothers movie too. It's not really directly coordinated to the game that it's based on. I know that's been a bit of a controversy with people online, and honestly, I don't know why most people were even surprised that happened, because, like, the first trailer put more time focusing on Yoshi than it did, like, Rosalina or anything, who, by the way, have some notes about her character, but, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty obvious from the first trailer of this movie that they were just doing whatever they wanted to do with it. I was not really expecting a one-to-one recreation of Galaxy with my altercations. I could kind of tell with just how much stuff, even from, like, the amount of scenes they showed in the trailer that just plays in the Mushroom Kingdom. I just thought that kind of tipped that off, that it wasn't really going to be a Mario Galaxy movie, but a Mario movie in the galaxy, if that makes any sense. But, aside from that, I really did enjoy it. I guess, so what the plot they did do is, Mario and Luigi are kind of static characters in this movie, right? They don't really have any development. The main characters that were kind of the focus on in terms of storytelling and who kind of changed and grew was, like, Peach and Bowser. Not directly correlated with each other, but they both kind of had their own arcs going on, and, well, a lot of people said they had problems with the pacing, and, well, I think the first 15 minutes are kind of just fly through everything, and then the ending was really abrupt. Aside from that, I don't think the issue I had with the movie was so much the pacing, but how they juggled the character's story. So, in this movie, Bowser is trying to go good, so to speak, right? Mario and Luigi are obviously suspicious of that. Well, more so Mario is than anything. But Bowser insists that he's trying to change. He wants to go back to normal. And he wants to reconnect with his son, right? Well, the interesting thing is, Bowser Jr. does not want his father to be a good guy. He wants to destroy the universe with his father and roll over the ashes of it, right? So there's like moral confliction where Bowser's like, well, I've grown to like everyone that I've met, but my son, well, I want to reconnect with my son, and he wants to destroy the world with me. So there's a bit of confliction with him there, and then ultimately he decides to just be bad because that's who he is, because it means he gets to connect with his son. And I think that's actually kind of funny and interesting how they did that, because it's kind of a reverse character arc. You wouldn't expect a character to just completely backtrack on themselves and go back to what they're doing. But they did, and I thought that was a funny little subversion. Because initially, I thought he was like in on the whole shtick of Junior rescuing him the entire time, but no, he did generally want to change until they got to Planet Bowser, and I thought that was honestly, that kind of surprised me a little bit. And then, as for Peach, well, she, as it turns out, this is a really big spoiler, is sisters with Rosalina. And Peach's whole character in this movie was trying to get to Rosalina and find out just exactly where she originated from. Because if you don't know from the first movie, Peach was basically unsure of her past, and this is something that is getting touched in a little bit more in this movie. But the problem is, they don't really juggle these plot lines too well. They kind of rush between them. It's not like the scenes themselves are cut off. I think they just need a couple more scenes for Bowser and Peach respectively for their narrative directions really hit a bit harder. Because I see what they were trying to do, and I think there's some interesting character there. But ultimately, I don't think they fleshed it out as well as they could have. It's still a very enjoyable movie, don't get me wrong, but I don't... The problem these movies kind of had is, yeah, they're a bit faster paced, but I just don't think they were sure how to, balance the screen time they need for everyone. Sorry, allergies are killing me today. But, yeah, it was just... I thought it was kind of weird how, the movie just kind of ended abruptly after they defeated Bowser. They, all go back to rebuild the castle, and boom, that's it. That kind of caught me off guard. And I kind of wish they spent more time, mainly on Peach and Rosalina, to be honest, because initially, when I watched the movie, I had no real complaints about Rosalina's character, but honestly, I think now that I've had time to sit and think about it, I think they kind of lost, what kind of made interest, I'm sorry, dyslexic in my head. I think they kind of lost what made Rosalina so mysterious and interesting as a character. Because in the Galaxy games, there's this aura of mystery behind her, and, it's very heavily implied that she abandoned her own mother, who might have died or whatever, to help this Luma that she found. And then she goes across the galaxy searching for the Luma's mother, and then she comes to her, to Luma, she becomes the mother of all Lumas, yada yada. I'm really badly in that, but if you play through Galaxy and read through the Rosalina storybook, it is a very touching thing, and I think they kind of lost that trying to go, oh, Rosalina and Peach are sisters, they were created by a comic dust. And I think that's an interesting origin for Peach, I guess, but I don't know. I kind of liked how Rosalina in the games is just, you don't know too much about her, but you know enough to be, feel a somber tone from her. And I don't think they capture that somber tone, because now that she and Peach obviously connect by the end of the movie, so now that's just, boop, gone. And, I'm not saying, Rosalina as a character can't be developed and go through story arc and find some sort of closure, but there wasn't enough scenes for Rosalina to be in to really feel that, sense of loss that she has in the games, and they don't put enough time focusing on that. I think it is the weakest part of the story, because I also think Bowser needed maybe one or two more scenes between him and Mario for his arc to really flesh out best for when he decides to ultimately be bad. I think there should have been some sort of scene that pushed him over fully to embrace him being an evil conqueror and wanting to rule the galaxy with his son. But at the end of the day, I think, well, it made sense for Bowser just to like go back to being evil. Like, it's Bowser. But as for Rosalina, nah, she needed a little bit more screen time. I don't think there were anything that like took away from Rosalina. It's just they didn't have enough prepared for to really flesh her out. And I think this movie could have used an extra 20, 30-ish minutes to really give the story the more time it needed to breathe. Like, again, I don't think the issue was the pacing. I think they just weren't sure how to juggle the characters themselves. Anyway, overall, I think the movie's an 8 out of 10. Oh, wait. I forgot. Fox McCloud was in this movie, and, you know, I'm just gonna come out and say it. He was, like, my favorite character. I will openly admit I'm extremely biased, but I love them in they did the character justice. I think they really took a bunch of different aspects of the character from the games and kind of mushed them all together to create his persona in the movies. Honestly, I could go in and do a whole character analysis for once I can get some scene rips to break the scenes down that he's in. But that's a video idea for another day. But they did the character justice, and as a Star Fox fan, when they did this like anime style intro for the character to like catch up the general audience speed, because obviously no one was gonna know who Fox McCloud was in this day and age, sadly. Dude, I was honestly surprised they did like such a cool looking animation like that, because it completely goes into a different style from the movie for the scene that he's introducing himself. And it's just this heavy anime aesthetic. I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. But I was blown away. He does a lot of fun stuff. He's not in the movie too much. Like, he's got like 6 or 7 minutes. I'm sorry if that was a stupid jump. But, you know, people were saying, oh, he has more scenes than Rosalina. He really doesn't. If you ever watch the original SpongeBob movie, he has the same role as David Hasselhoff. He gets the characters to where they need, helps out a little bit, bing, bada, boom. He does some cool shit, that's it. But it was fun to see him interact with Mario, because initially it's like, oh, you think they're gonna fight, but then they don't. Like the R-Wing scene where he's fighting the UFO, oh my god, that was so amazing. I honestly, God, want a full new Star Fox movie, because if they don't go and make a Star Fox movie after teasing us like this, Nintendo's shooting themselves in the foot, and honestly, they need to get off their asses and start making a new game, because, dude, he was honestly one of the best parts of the movie. He's such a cool character, and I will admit I am biased, but I have seen other people who might not have been aware the character existed, who did also say, oh, they loved him in the movie. So he was honestly one of the highlights of the film. I think most people agreed that they really liked seeing him and thought he was a cool character. And I'm so happy to see so many people introduced to the franchise. And honestly, I gotta strike while the iron is hot and start talking about more Star Fox games and stuff on the channel. But overall, I think the movie was a solid 8 out of 10. It wasn't like the most peak of cinema. It was pretty standard for like an animated movie meant for all ages, but you know what it did good, it was really enjoyable. If they're gonna make a third movie, I hope I think they need to work on like how their character, right, and not like the characters themselves, but like their storytelling, how they tell stories, and like how they focus on characters and have some more like heartfelt scenes, because the more heartfelt stuff is there, it just gets glossed over for the action. And while I like the action they show in these movies, it's really good, they need to have some more like toned down emotional moments for these kinds of movies. Because at the end of the day, people are going to a movie for the storytelling, and while this is going to be a bit of a hot take, I don't think you need to necessarily focus on a story for a movie to be a good movie. But if you want to have something that's narrative based and isn't like episodic, you really need to focus on the narrative you have. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but my point is, next movie, I hope they like maybe dial it back a little bit, to try to be more self-contained and try to focus on like one particular character who they want to write for and have an arc for. Because the way they were just like trying to juggle between Rosalina and the Peach's story and Bowser Jr.'s story and what they were trying to do with the characters and have them grow, shape, change. It was really awkward switching between them a little bit, and I think if the movie had just focused on one aspect of these characters over the other, I think it would have done better. Honestly, I'm not sure how I still feel about the Rosalina and Peach being sisters. It was like a jaw-dropping moment. It caught me off guard because that's not in the games, but at the same time, I don't know. It kind of takes away from Rosalina's story a little bit, but I'm curious to see what they do with it going forward, and especially to see if it gets translated into the games themselves. But honestly, I think what would be better for the movie franchise, like the movies universe, I think would work a lot better as like an episodic cartoon, because there's scenes in the film where it's just Mario and Luigi doing heroic stuff throughout the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's very enjoyable, very funny, like fast-paced little montage that I think if they like focus on doing episodic cartoons, I think with how they write characters, how they do humor and stuff, and are less focused on like the overall story, I think it would work a lot better as an episodic cartoon than it would be a big emotional drama. But that's just kind of my opinion. Honestly, all I'm saying is I want a revival of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and get Chris Pratt and Charlie Day to do live action segments, because that would be hilarious as shit. They make a Star Fox movie. I want a new Star Fox movie. Because you teased me, Nintendo, and I want more. You can't play with my feelings like this, guys. But, that's enough for now. Overall, decent movie. Was a little bit flawed, but I overall enjoyed it. Peace out.